Reverend Dr. David Sammons was called from service to St. John's Unitarian Church in Cincinnati to the Unitarian Church of Evanston in the fall of 1978. We installed Dave Sammons with the requisite pomp and circumstance. Reverend Homer Jack, who served UCE 1948 to 1956, officiated. Then we got to work with many new initiatives and new faces. Reverend Sammons led congregants in anti-war protest. We protested the proliferation of nuclear weapons with the North Shore Peace Initiative. We declared UCE a nuclear weapon-free zone. UCE presented to Evanston speakers of renown concerned to promulgate peace. Religious Education Director Carolyn Buss began her career in 1978 with much energy. She gathered a children's choir. She made an institution out of an experiment called Boston Bound, now called Journeys. Junior hires paid a 4-day visit to the Mecca of Unitarian Universalism in Boston. They visited UUA headquarters, several of the many Unitarian churches, several historical sites, and Faneuil Hall for shopping. Carolyn Buss earned her ministerial credentials in the newly minted course of education, becoming ordained as our first minister of religious education. John Giles came to the director's podium of the music program in the fall of 1981. He brought an enormous amount of energy that gathered to him a roster of 75 choir members, with no less than 40 choir members at most Sunday services. His second year saw a very ambitious program of music: Walden in the fall with Dick Sieben as Thoreau, the Bach Magnificat for Christmas, St. John's Passion in February, Fauré in April, and Schubert's Mass in G in May. The following year, he began a career of composing music for Unitarian Universalist worship with his cantata Caboose Thoughts. John stayed with us for 15 years. Ken Smith came to us in the fall of 1983, our first showcased pianist. In 1978, Mark Agnello and Martia Lansdorf designed stained glass windows to flank the doors, and Dorothy Feltenstein helped pay for them. In 1983, a hand-spun triptych graced the north windows of the sanctuary. Doesn't it look wonderful with our then-new terrazzo floor? The congregation developed a high spirit of fellowship and fun, which morphed most especially into some of our favorite fundraisers. Annual picnics were held at Harms Woods and Skokie Lagoon. The Lake Geneva Retreat was begun in 1956 as a planning session for church leadership and was held annually. After a few years, leaders' spouses also came, and the weekend morphed into an event for everyone. In the early 80s, under the leadership of Dave Sammons' young congregation, the weekend developed an edge of frolic. The Serendipity Auction was inaugurated in 1979. The congregation had had auctions of a sort since the early 70s, but in 1979 we hired a professional auctioneer to cajole the money out of our pockets. And the rest, as they say, is history. And that wonderful bit of whimsy, gaslight days. Dave Sammons left UCE in 1983 for the Mount Diablo UU congregation in Walnut Creek, California. He returned for our centennial celebration in 1991.